Before this video starts, I just wanted to give like a little announcement just on the future of this series and going forward and whatnot. It's not this is already over because I got lazy, but just wanted to share my thought process going forward and how I plan to make videos in the future. So yeah, like I said, it's been a bit. It's just kind of, I have no reason for not uploading videos. Just been kind of lazy. Not really motivated to play this game, which directly related into me not wanting to really make videos about this game. So yeah, but new year, new me. We should be back for a decent amount of time because I have no excuse for not making videos when I'm literally not doing anything. So yeah, we're gonna get back on that. Hopefully, we'll see like 2 to 3 videos a week, and to kind of get caught up and whatnot. Even when we do get caught up, hopefully keep that schedule going. And then about how I'm gonna go pick characters from now on. Maybe this might just be for as of like since we're having a patch coming up, but I'm gonna try to do characters that have been recently changed, so I don't have to go make a video over again because I cover a character and then boom, they get changed in the next patch. So that's how I'm gonna plan to go about it right now. As the title suggests, we're doing Zooey, which was recently changed in the last patch. So hopefully she doesn't get changed again, so I don't have to make another video about her. But yeah, that's how I plan to do it for the near future until we get caught up, and then there's no patch for like another 2 months, and I can just go make videos on characters. But yeah, that's really about it. I apologize for anybody who has been kind of anticipating another video in this series. It's obviously, like I said, it's my fault. I've just been lazy, but new year, we'll get back on it. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say. But yeah, I guess enjoy this Zooey Counterplay guide, and yeah, that's about it. Hope to see you guys all around. Peace. Alright, first, let's go over normals as usual. This character doesn't really have anything too special. Her normals are pretty good, honestly. Or they're pretty solid. I wouldn't say they're like good as in like they're amazing, but they're pretty solid. She has a 5 frame close out, which is pretty good. Her 2M is 8 frames and is pretty big. Far M is 9 and is a little bit bigger than her 2M. Her Far H is also 9 frames. It's pretty big. Well, 2H is 11. There's decent like range right there. You can see it covers that like whole area. Obviously, I might be completely wrong. I have not seen the hitbox on it, but generally it hits. So from my knowledge, it's pretty good. She has a low 2L, 6 frames. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good so far. Yeah, besides that, I guess standard 6XL. But her 6XM, however, is an overhead. And it's -6, so she can kind of space it to where she's safe, depending on, obviously, like I said, the spacing. But it is like 26 frames, so it's 2 frames faster than Raging Strike, which is 28. But yeah, if you block one of these close up, use your 6 framer, or if you're close enough, I doubt you're gonna get in a position where even there, she's not even in grab range. So still, every character should be able to punish this with their 6 frame normal. In Grant's case, this is a this far L is probably the best option, or if you happen to be close enough, you do close M right there. So something like this. You see, use 6 frame to punish that with this close M. Obviously, like I said, maybe your character doesn't have a 6 frame close M, so you can use your far light, your 2L. Yeah, obviously figure out what your character has for the situation, but yeah, isn't the scariest thing. Doesn't lead into anything. Obviously, overheads usually don't lead into anything unless you're wilderness. But yeah, this one doesn't lead into anything. Actually, it does have setups where it may, but those setups are probably pretty easy to tell when they're coming. But yeah. Besides that, 66H is her other. It's unique in the sense that it's armored. And yeah, if you played against Zooey, you've probably seen this move before. It's pretty bad on whiff, minus 41, and on block, as you saw before, it's minus 8, but it has the unique property of actually just killing things. You see, I tried to press right there. You see it gets eaten out by that, and it launches. Even on non-counter hit, it does lead into a full combo, so it's pretty scary. But however, as you saw, it is minus 8. So if you do happen to block this, then you can punish this. Most characters have an 8 frame that can deal with this. And yeah, usually if she is going to connect this move, it will be in a way where you can punish. Obviously, it depends on your character, figure out what works for you and what doesn't. But yeah, most characters can punish this because it is always minus 8 on block, unless I'm missing something, a very specific situation. But yeah, you know, despite it blocking all those hits, like for example, like I showed you, not like that, but you know, something like that. It does actually lose the lows, so it will only beat like mids and highs. So for example, if I were to do that 2U right there, as you see, it beats it even after it comes out. So it is pretty risky. It is more of a call out than a reaction. But yeah, it's an option because sometimes they'll like to do it at round start. So you know, you might want to 2U on round start and then you be able to beat that out. But yeah, as always, if you block it though, she's still minus 8, so you can't punish it. Like I said, figure out what works for your character, what doesn't. I was talking about her normals, but I didn't really talk about everybody's like unique, the 5U. So her 5U charges up her gauge that's right below her SSBA gauge. That has a dragon icon next to it. So this gauge, what it does, it lets her use her projectiles. So obviously I'll cover this a bit more later, but as you can see, every time she uses one of these, it takes away some of the gauge, and depending on the version, it will take more than others. So yeah, this charge right here lets her charge a little bit more of that gauge, so she can use this. It also has an attack property. Or not an attack property, but she can attack out of this. So if it is invincible, as you can see right there. So yeah, it does use this as like a combo ender, or if someone's like jumping at her, she can just kind of do this as an anti-air. There's other situations, you know, some people will see this and will try to attack, and then, you know, she can catch you off guard with one of these. Even though it's pretty minus on block, minus 20, so yeah, it's really minus on block. So if someone blocks this, they, you know, Zooey player kind of dies. But yeah, it can be used as it's mainly used as a combo ender, even though like you don't have meter, you might see it as a combo ender. But there's a lot of other ways for her to enter combos. But it's sometimes, like I said, it's sometimes used as an anti-air. Sometimes you just catch people off guard that, you know, think they can get a free approach when they see charge. So yeah. But going into her specials, we're going to talk about what I just briefly covered upon, which is the uses of Dragon Meter and her projectile, the 236 series. She has 4 different versions of this. Of course, you have the L Dragon, These are all plus. Actually, I say that space independent, but you usually won't see this point blank. But it's usually plus. So just keep that in mind. The M version, which is always plus, regardless of spacing. You see it's plus 12, so yeah, it's pretty. It's her turn, but it does have pretty decent startup. First active frame, 28 frames, as you can see. So it's a whole half a second for if she, does this. You can act out of it and hit her out of it. But it's mainly a call out. If you're trying to do this as a reaction, you're probably gonna get hit. And if you do get hit, it leads into a full combo, and it's pretty damaging. So I'd recommend, don't press against this unless you really know. But besides that, she has Ace Dragon, which is a bit more plus, but takes longer to come out. It is extremely high damage starter. It's probably her highest damage starter. Just in general, they buffed it, I believe, a couple times. So yeah, pretty strong. And then there is this move, which basically covers like 80% of the screen, like vertically, and is actually the highest property projectile in the game. I'm pretty sure it will trade with some supers as well. So it's pretty big. And also another property it does have is that it regenerates Dragon Meter on usage, so you'll often see this a lot to end combos. Or it's even like safe on block. I say safe on block and it's minus 13, but you're pushed out to a position where no character can really punish this. I'm sure maybe 6 would probably punish this, but yeah. So yeah, you'll probably see that a lot as a combo ender if you haven't seen it already. Just to give her back gauge so she can use the projectiles. There's another thing that I didn't mention, but probably could already tell that her gauge doesn't really have a cooldown like other characters do. If Ran were to use this EX Fireball, you see it goes on a cooldown right there. But if I switch to Zooey, you see this doesn't change at all. You see the bar for the little skill icon doesn't flash at all when she uses it. So yeah, her cooldown is basically determined by her gauge. So think of her gauge as her cooldown. Now we know her properties on these moves. Let's talk about actually dealing with them. This is pretty scary, or this projectile set is pretty scary because she doesn't have a cooldown. So like unlike other characters, like if you're Grand, for example, you'll plus frames, you'll do this, and okay, I don't have a projectile for another 7 seconds. So I don't have no way to really retain my plus frames without extending myself, doing 2M, 6XL, putting myself in the opponent's face. But Zooey, on the other hand, if she does this, she's kind of just rotating this. And it's really hard to interact with because she's just always plus. And like I said, this is usually used at a spot where it is always plus. You're not going to see it right here where it's minus, ever. But yeah, see this a lot. So what do you do about this? First, I'm going to tackle each and every one of them, and then we're going to go over a general rule in just dealing with this projectile pressure in the corner, whether it is the M, L version or the H version. But yeah, let's do that real quick. Of course, depending on the normal is cancelled off of, the frame data will change. Well, in terms of spot dodging, because spot dodging, rolling, that's what you're supposed to do against these projectiles and most projectiles in the game. But yeah, let's go over each one of them and each move that it can be cancelled off of and its frame data. So first, yeah, far out. Obviously, timing on when you spot dodge will determine how your advantage. So you see, if I spot dodge a little late, that was I guess about the time. If you spot dodge a little late, you're still minus. But if you do it like preemptive right there, you are +4. That's off far out. This one you can actually roll as well. So if you are +4 in her face, then that's a true punish off of a throw. It's only off of far out though. Keep that in mind. But let me see, it's still kind of tight. This is definitely a hard call as well, just due to the property of the other ones. Suppose a M normal. She is -2 if you preemptively spot dodge it. So you can still roll, but you won't be able to get a full punish like you got off of a far out. And of course, if you kind of delay it, then she's still plus. She can't do anything, like, she can't punish you for this. But yeah, she's still plus if you do spot dodge late. But we'll talk about like delay spot dodging in a little bit after I cover everything, because it is a pretty good option to deal with all this stuff. Next, off of 4-5H, this one, you're 0, but you're also kind of at like a position where nothing is reaching for either character. So it isn't like terrible. Obviously, it's like just a matter of who's gonna press a button right here, or if you're like, you know, you're gonna try to retake your turn from this positioning, or you're just gonna try to cover space to try to cover an approach, whether it be either side. So it's kind of like, it's not terrible, but it's still, you're not really pretty much resetting back to whatever. So yeah, she really isn't in a position where she can immediately threaten anything, and neither can you. So it's kind of like neutral in a sense, but you're in disadvantage in terms of like pressure at least. So it's just kind of the RPS off of like whatever happens right there. You go either way. But yeah, next, contrary to the L dragon, the other dragons actually cannot be rolled. So if you do roll, you will die. Of course, we just show you the frame data off of these. Maybe you roll, even if you spot dodge too early, you might get it right here. But as you can see, you're pretty, if you can spot dodge this way, you're pretty plus. You have to like immediately act if you want to catch it, but yeah, depending on how early you do it, maybe this is kind of rough. But at least you know, even if you can't punish this right here, it's still your turn. But yeah, and there's also your delay spot dodge as well. It's kind of, like I mentioned before, your frame data will change, or your advantage will change depending on how or when you spot dodge. The earlier you spot dodge, the more plus you're going to be. See, at best I remember seeing +10. But yeah, it's pretty risky. Also, I did mention that you can't roll this, so let me just show that off real quick. So yeah, if you roll this like you're trying to catch a 2-3-6L, then you will die. So keep that in mind. Other normals is kind of similar. There's obviously just more space, so it's gonna be harder to do anything. But if you do spot dodge this, it is your turn for the most part. And then of course, we just show off the H version, or I meant like H off of this. But yeah, it's pretty similar. But just know that if you spot dodge one of these properly, it's usually your turn, unless you like super delay spot dodge like that, and then you know, and it's probably still her turn. But honestly, a lot of Zooey players will kind of just like, well, most of them, not, I wouldn't say lower level, but I'd say a good chunk of Zooey players still like autopilot. Even if this is like spot, like whether it's spot dodged or not. So you might catch them pressing, thinking that they're still plus, but obviously it's kind of hard to tell. Like spot dodge timing, and like being aware of that on both sides, because like a lot of times the players would be like, oh, I spot dodged, it's probably my turn, but you spot dodge too late and then it's not your turn. So I guess knowing timings is pretty important, and like knowing, like being able to feel like what position you spot dodged in and what you're thinking it might be. Like if it's like really preemptive and you're just like, oh, I did it immediately, okay, yeah, of course. But if you do it a little delayed, then it's kind of like you have to get changes. So it's just something to keep in mind. Next is the H version. The H version is kind of you can't roll this either, and it's a lot of damage if you do get that, whether it was a counter hit or a normal hit. And if you spot dodge too early, then you'll get caught by the laser going up. So it's kind of, you have to find like the right time to spot dodge it, which isn't immediate, which is why like timings on for pressure is pretty weird and a lot of people get caught by it, because there's different timing to catch every single like projectile. But yeah, as you saw right there, you spot dodge a little late. She's +4, but I spot dodged it at like a pretty decent timing, so I was still plus right there. I was +3 right there as well. So it's like really hard to get the correct timing without getting caught, because if you do it slightly too early and you want to be plus, then you might get caught. So the timing, it's something you probably have to figure out for yourself. I can't really explain it. I'm just gonna have to go into training room yourself, set this up, and kind of like feel it out. It's like, oh, okay, when I see this, what time should I spot dodge? So I'm an advantage, you know? Because it takes a little bit to come out, and if you're just waiting and you're not like looking like to immediately spot dodge anything, then you can probably react to this, because this takes a little while to come out. But of course, timing is kind of rough, and the later you spot dodge, the more plus she is as well. So it's pretty difficult to deal with, just due to the nature of all the other stuff. But yeah. So earlier I did mention something about delay spot dodge. Even though delay spot dodge will leave you like pretty minus most of the time, so it's not really your turn, it is a solid option to beat out every projectile. Even if you're not going to be plus, it's not going to be your turn, but you're not taking chip, and yeah, depending on the dragon as well, if you can find a good time to delay spot dodge, you can still find a way to at least retain not super disadvantage. Like basically you might end up plus if you if they do the right one, and you delay spot dodge right, mainly off of like M dragon, because that's probably the most, like, it's probably the easiest to like get the timing for spot dodge to make yourself plus. Alright, so I just set the computer to just rotate through these 3 options off of a 2M. So I already delayed spot dodge right there on habit, but if you kind of like immediate spot dodge, you see right there, you get caught by that. Obviously haven't rotated through yet, but immediate spot dodge will catch that. Immediate spot dodge will catch that off the 2M as well. So like, it's a good option. Like, let's say delay spot dodge is a good option, just because it catches the other thing. But it's definitely the one that carries the least risk, because if you get caught by H dragon off of an immediate spot dodge guess, then you will die. I don't know if you've seen the combos, but I did mention it before, but you're taking like 70% if they have good resources. So you don't want to get hit by that. So I would say practice just kind of delaying your spot dodge a little bit. You see if I delayed it a little bit, I'm plus right here. I'd delay it right here. Yeah, she's still plus, she can't do anything about that though. Or was a little bit too early right there. Did it right here, and now I'm plus. It's kind of like, if you block this, if you block a light dragon, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, she's still plus, but like, but as you can see, a delay spot dodge gets you around that. Okay, she does that. Whatever. If you delay like spot dodge on one of those, on an L dragon, it's just best to just hold that. But you see, you spot dodge anything else and it's delayed, then it is your turn if you find the right timing to like catch everything. So I'd say if you're having trouble with Zooey in the corner, you work on your spot dodge timing to cover every single option. And one thing that, you know, this is all going to come full circle, because I did mention her Dragon Gauge, and she has to have meter to use Dragon Gauge, or she has to have Dragon Gauge meter to use her projectile. So if she just, you know, keeps doing this, you know, she's just back here, she's just spamming these, the Dragon Gauge eventually depletes, and she has no more gauge. As you can see, it refills because of training mode settings, but when she has no gauge, this goes on a pretty long cooldown. So yeah, that was like a 20-second cooldown. So if she runs out of Dragon Gauge, she's out of projectiles for a while. So honestly, I know a lot of people are very active on defense because this game like allows it and like kind of promotes it, but you don't have to do anything against this pressure. She's doing this to like force you to do something. She wants you to react to something and be wrong and take like 20,000 damage. But if you just kind of sit here and hold this, you know, keep delay spot dodge until you don't take chip, obviously. You figure out like a good delay spot dodge timing, then you're gonna come to the next player when she doesn't do this anymore. She doesn't throw out a projectile anymore, but instead she'll cancel like a normal into here, which you really won't see against most Zooey players. Like I'd say the more conscious Zooey players, like their meter, or like the really like high level Zooey players, but like usually a lot of Zooey players aren't paying attention to the meter, especially like the newer or like, you know, mid-level Zooey players. They don't understand how like important maintaining their meter is, so they'll just kind of like use this until, you know, they'll be like, oh shoot, if I use one more like M dragon, then I'm gonna be out of meter and I can't use my projectile for like 20 seconds. And then that's when they start doing this and charging this. And as you can see, she's minus off of this. So if, like, obviously this is a read. This is not guaranteed. We're not guaranteed to do this every single time. They're like, oh shoot, my meter's about to just die and, you know, I won't be able to use it, so let me charge up right now at the same spot every time. It is more of like, you know, kind of figuring out your opponent's offensive habits. And this is something that you will probably be able to understand more as you kind of just sit back and block this, you know, you block this Zooey player. So, like I said, they'll probably start doing it more often towards like the end of like their gauge. But a lot of the higher level Zooey players will show it like a lot earlier, so it makes it harder to tell when they're going to do it, so it's like a lot harder to guess. But yeah, I'd say for more like mid to like lower level Zooey players, they're not paying attention to their gauge as much, so if you're able to do that and kind of, you know, pay attention to it more than they are, which is obviously it's hard to tell, but if you can keep an eye out for their gauge and know when they might try to sneak in a 5U to charge, then you can, you know, take advantage of that, punish them. And yeah, just so it's not like I'm just saying stuff, but like you did see she was like -9, something like that. So if you do something like that, if you can't punish, at the very least you are still plus. Sometimes they'll charge it for a little bit longer, so you will be able to get a punish. So I held it for a little bit longer right there, and you see I was able to get a punish right there. No, I don't have counter hit on, so that's just a counter hit right there. So if you do guess right on one of those, then you know, if you have a feeling, then by all means, go ahead and like 6XL or press any button out of that to kill them for it. But like I said, it is a guess, and you'll probably be able to better tell your opponent's habits the more you kind of just sit back and block. So moral of the story right here, this is probably the biggest Zooey tip I'm going to give you, just in general, is literally when you're in the corner against Zooey, don't worry about like, oh, I need to guess right and get out of here. If you're really like worrying about that bad, then like wait for a 6XL and DC him. But if you see they're content to just play right here and they're kind of not focused on their gauge, let them burn out their gauge, and then they won't have this for another 20 seconds, and then their options are extremely limited in terms of trying to, you know, keep their pressure going, because then they only have one option to kind of keep their pressure, and that's 6XL, and you know that puts them in range for you to interact and, you know, you to use your defensive options and stuff like that. And I was talking all about that stuff in the corner, but what do you do about this move? It's pretty big, and yeah, as you can see, depending on the spacing, well, not even depending on the spacing, she's always safe on this because of the pushback it has. Well, what happens if you were to spot dodge it or something like that? On spot dodge, honestly, this move gets a lot worse than it seems. You're like, oh, really high priority projectile that trades with supers. But if this is spot dodge, it's pretty bad. She is -22, so a lot of characters can just punish this outright, especially depending on spacing. Like even like full screen. Okay, depends on the character obviously, but if you can just spot dodge this, you can definitely just kill her for it. You see even that punishes right there. So if they guess like wrong on that, then you can just like blow them up for it. You can roll it too, so you can get closer if you're like worried about not being able to punish. But yeah, after this, if you can react to that, she is extremely minus, and yeah, you can just kind of kill her for that. So yeah, you know, despite this move being like really high priority projectile, this move isn't great. It serves its purpose, and that's to regenerate her meter so she can use her other dragons instead of this one. Anyway, that was a long time on her projectiles. Next, let's go into, let's see, let's go into her 214. It would be easier to kind of deal with right now. So, her 214 series is her spinning slash, is like her combo tool. Kind of just like safe on block. I say safe on block, but okay, I guess so. But yeah, this is like combo tool, kind of safe on block ender as well. It has a couple follow-ups, or not a couple follow-ups. She has 2 follow-ups off of these in every single version besides her U version. But yeah, they're all pretty much the same. Besides, you know, one's more minus because it's a combo tool. But yeah, that's the L version. It's smaller, has short startup. The H version, or not the H version, the M version goes further. See, it has a pretty good reach. Goes like 3/4 of the screen. But yeah, longer startup. The H version is like the L version, but it's the combo tool, and it's unsafe on block. But yeah, like I said, all of these have the same follow-ups. Not that, but she has the forward follow-up, which is like her combo tool. You won't really see that often as a block stream. More of like a ender or like, you know, combo tool, like I mentioned. But then she also has the low follow-up, which is literally a low. As you can see, Grand blocks low to block low, to, you know, because it's a low. But it's pretty minus on block, but it is also seen as a frame trap. So I'm gonna try to press in between the gap right here. You can see L comes out on my kind of input viewer and I get hit. So a lot of times, like, you'll see this and people are like, oh, okay, it's my turn, I'm gonna press right there. But yeah, the follow-up is a frame trap, although it doesn't lead into anything for her on, like, on these versions. If she were to do it on this, then she gets a full combo. So yeah, she can kind of delay it a bit. But if the gap is too big, then yeah, you can press. But if you're late, then yeah, she gets a full combo in this version. But a lot of people like to press after this version in particular because she is -8. So if she doesn't cancel, then it is a full punish for you. But yeah, these are both -8. But it's just something to keep in mind that this is a frame trap, and she does get a full combo off of this if she is right. But if not, then you can just outright punish it. So yeah, as you can see right there. And right here. You see punish on the side. So yeah, you can punish it. It's -8. So yeah, depending on, you know, your normals, obviously figure out what works best. And yeah, just understand that frame trap is possible on this if she decides to delay this. So it's just something to keep in mind. This is the U version. U version doesn't have any follow-up on block, but it will lead into a full combo on hit. And it's also -4. So if you happen to block this in the corner, then you will be able to get a throw punish. However, mid-screen, that is just not possible, because you got pushback mid-screen, so that's just not doable. But it is -4, so it will be your turn. But yeah, do keep in mind, in the corner you can punish it. But yeah, there is no cancelable options for her off of the old version. Just the fact that it is always safe unless she's in the corner on block. Next is her, like, spinning slash. What do I call this one? I think I also called this one a spinning slash, but whatever. This is her 623. We're gonna just call it by input. This is her 623. She kind of jumps up and tracks her opponent. It has pretty decent tracking. The L version will probably tracking like 3/4 screen. It's pretty fast too. See, it's 30 frames from like full screen right here. So you're not really reacting to this one in particular because it's so fast. The M version tracks full screen and it has longer startup. And as you can see, it's also 0 on block. So yeah. Kind of depends right here, like, you're not really going to be in the position to, you know, get a close light from right here. So if you have a 6 framer on like a 4L, then you get even playing ground. But if you're Belial, of course, 2L will probably be out everything right there. So it depends. Going back to the L version, she's minus off of this. -2. And yeah, recently the H version was changed. This used to be plus. Now it's not, because now it gives a full combo. So now it's the same frame data as, well, frame data in terms of on block as the L version. So yeah, sometimes you might see this as, you know, just a neutral skip tool. Not as much anymore because it's not plus. Before, when it used to be plus, you could just catch someone off guard, and then, you know, now it's 13. But yeah, now of course it's a combo tool, no longer plus. Yeah. After that is the U version, which is her DP. Yeah, on block she's -15, so you can get a pretty decent punish. Obviously, it's not the most negative DP in the game, but yeah, just keep that in mind. It's only -15. It's not like you can run up and do whatever you want. You have to kind of, depending on space, and you kind of figure out what is the best option. But yeah, of course, dealing with these is probably not the easiest. You can react to all of them in kind of like 2H, besides the the DP. Probably depending on your character, of course. Maybe you have a more optimal combo or a higher damaging combo in the air, but like you can react and like 2H this. You can react and DP. So like depending on what you have, you know, like your character's options to do with this. DP is obviously the safer option because you can be like a little bit late and then you get caught by this. Obviously, doesn't get a full combo off of this one, but yeah, it's like you can be late and then it might not be great for you. So you have a DP, it's safe, but if you can like react to this and like anti-air it, then by all means, feel free. You can anti-air it with like, well, it's easier to do 2H because it's not proximity. But yeah, same goes for everything else. It's a lot easier to do the other ones because they take longer to start up, so you have more time to react. So yeah, you have a lot longer time right here. But as always, DP does work too. Same for the H version. Like I said, you probably won't see this as often, just due to the fact because the H version isn't plus anymore. But yeah, also you can actually spot dodge it if you're early enough, but it's like really early. And, like if you spot dodge it like right here, she's gonna be plus instead. So I'd recommend, like, you know, if you see something, you see like this animation, try to get used to not spot dodging it, because a lot of people will just they'll see something like this and they'll spot dodge. Unless you're like really on top of like the timing for spot dodge, I'd say just get used to like anti-air, especially if you have a DP, because you just button forward and then boom, DP comes out. So it's something, a good habit to kind of have against this character if you do have a DP. Or just in general, just not to spot dodge it unless you're, you know, really early. And even if you're really early, you might be too early, and then you can't do that. But yeah, if you spot dodge early enough, then you can punish it with throw and whatnot. But then yeah, like I said, DP minus 15. Just do whatever punish you would. Figure out what works, and yeah, that's pretty much your 63 series. Next is Lightning. Lightning, yeah, it's Lightning. It does have a hitbox first, and then it kind of just pops wherever it's like, depending on the version. The L version has a shorter reach, the M version is longer, and then the H version covers from where L version does to where M version does, with an extra like lightning strike in the middle, and it's also plus. So yeah, unlike the other ones, well, these are plus. If just the last version was like that, this one is always plus. And then there's the U version. This move kind of sucks, but it is kind of like a mix-up in terms of like spot dodging. So a lot of people will see blue and they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna spot dodge this, you know, this dragon. And then it's not dragon, and it's this. And this will actually lead to a full combo and hit. But obviously, this is like the only time this move is ever seen. It is to kind of, you know, bait people on spot dodging so they can get that full combo and, like, you know, high pressure situations where, you know, mental stack is high. But yeah, you won't really see this move as much, but of course I will see it anyways. A unique trait that Lightning has that not a lot of other moves in the game have is the fact that they can be held longer to delay their kind of activation, which is called negative edge, which is seen on Fairy as well, but I'm not sure if any other characters have it. You know, but it doesn't matter too much. We're talking about Zooey right now. But yeah, she can hold this, and then it will go a little bit later. So if I do this like immediately, you see it comes out immediately. But if I go hold a button afterwards, then it takes a little bit longer to come out, and, you know, she can act with this out right here, which allows for her setups. Her setups obviously aren't as potent as like other like set play characters like Kag, but they're still pretty scary. So she can do something like this if she has lightning set up. She can kind of run like a throw bait situation. She can also just kind of like do this and like fake it and whatnot, and then she get a full combo if you fall for it. So it's something to keep in mind that it is real. You'll probably see it a lot more set up off of like, you know, combo enders or something like that, and then she'll like set up a lightning and then she'll like run up and do some funky stuff. But yeah, it's there. Like I said, it's not as potent as other characters set play is, but it is still there. So it is something to keep in mind. That negative edge can lead to pretty funny setups. Like she can also like 6M and then get a full combo off of it. It is pretty tight, to say the very least, to get a combo off it, but it's there. You can also make yourself safe, like with that as well, and plus, she has this setup. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Yeah, besides that, there's not too much to talk about on this move, but we'll go over a few things that I have figured out over the time of playing this character and playing against this character. If you do see like that the Zooey player likes to do like tries to hold this on block, she is minus. She is very minus. So if they like to set this up and not do the follow up, then yeah, she is minus 30, and you can just kind of kill her for it. Even if she hits like the normal, like the first hit, then she's minus 14 right here. So it's like, go do that, and then they won't do anything, and you know, you'll kind of respect it because you imagine the follow-up is coming after. The follow-up is a frame trap, I believe. Never mind, I lied. It's not even a frame trap. It's just a true block string. So, with this in mind, you have no reason to, like, I'm gonna press right here, as you can see right there. Nothing's coming out. It is a true block string. So as you can see, if they do like to hold this, let's say something like this, then yeah, you can just smack them out of it. It's fake. So there's something to keep in mind. If you ever see that, if you see lightning and they hit you with it, like if they make you block the first one, then the rest is true block string. If you block it and you know it's still their turn, and because they let it go, it's okay. It's not like you could have done anything about it unless you wanted to BC it, and yeah, that works too. But if they like to hold it, then you can kill them for it. So make sure to keep that in mind when dealing with this. One other thing I'd like to bring up is that in exchange for, or not in exchange, but sometimes Zooey players will like to kind of, instead of, you know, just doing their normal dragon pressure, like, you know, poke this, poke that, poke charge, they sometimes will do this, which is pretty strong because this also beats normal spot dodge. So for example, if I can get this right, you spot dodge normally, it counter hits, and then she's plus 16, which is pretty big because this is a really good damage starter for her. So this is also where delay spot dodge works, if I can get it right. It's like really delayed. This is like something you're gonna have to kind of like figure out for yourself. Even if you do delay the spot dodge, she's pretty plus. I probably shouldn't be spot dodging this either, but I guess Zooey players aren't really familiar with how minus you are on a correct spot dodge with this. But yeah, it's better to just block this, I'd say. Obviously, if you're on chip out, then delay spot dodge is your best friend. DP, I guess, depending on your character, may or may not work. Reversal super, I guess. I don't know. It depends, but yeah, delay spot dodge again in the corner against Zooey is your best friend. If you can do the timing right, then you should be unpunishable. But like I said, it's pretty hard. So like I mentioned before, kind of implement this into your rotation in between like Zooey block range, just figuring out the spot dodge timing, and then your life will be a lot easier in the corner. Worst case scenario, just sit back and block it, and then the cooldown will be gone, and then she can't use it anymore. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Next is lightning, but in the air, because she can do this in the air, and depending on the version she does, it changes the direction it shoots at. So the L version, this one goes kind of like straight down. The M version goes a little bit further, more like a 45-degree angle, and then the 8 version kind of covers that whole area right there. It's pretty big, but alas, it's not like she's in like any advantage position if you block this. It's just kind of like an air stall, like she'll jump in and then she'll do that, and then to catch you trying to anti-air or whatnot. And then there's also this version where she is just a little bit more plus. This is sometimes used as a throw bait because it does give like full combo if you're right, as a Zooey player at least. And if they block it, then you're still plus. But it's pretty risky for her because you can just spot dodge this. So I'm only going to show off the M and, or not the M, the H and the U version, because it's pretty much the ones you're going to be seeing the most, and it's not like it's any different from the other versions, it's just that it covers more space. So, for example, let's just do something like that. You spot dodge this, she's minus 30. Or, well, if you spot dodge it early, she's minus 30. If you spot dodge this late, she's, she's still minus 20. As you can see, you can't roll this. But if you spot dodge it, she dies. So, yeah. A lot of Zooey players will like to do this. Like, they'll randomly just do this at mid-screen. For what reason, I'm not 100% sure. But it's something that they might do occasionally. And they think it, it does a lot. Sometimes it might catch you doing something. Even then, let me check this real quick because I'm not 100% sure. Well, it clashes with normal level projectiles, which is not good as well. So now that I think about it, I really don't know why they're doing this mid-screen randomly. But yeah, you see that? Like, yeah, so sometimes, like I said, I don't know why. It's kind of like Galleon players doing, like, air command grab for no real reason. But yeah, if they do this in midair, you can spot dodge it. Even if you're, you don't have meter to punish it, right there, you still cover a lot of ground. And now it's definitely your turn. But yeah, if you do have some, like, weird way to punish this, like, from full screen, by all means, you can kill them for it. But yeah, that's that. Also, yeah, the U version is like the same thing. Obviously, slowdown makes it so the frame data, like, she's not like minus 30 or whatnot, she's just minus 20. But yeah, since she's in the air and it's blue, it's like there's nothing else to react to. So yeah, you kind of just do this, you spot dodge, and then she dies. So yeah, and this can also be seen, like I said, this also sometimes used as a throw bait. So sometimes, they'll do this, run up, do this, and yeah, she's still pretty minus right here. Okay, obviously, it's doing a little bit too much, but yeah, if you can just kind of just like stay and like wait, you guess right on the throw bait, she dies. Sometimes you might see it. There's the little block button tech where you can kind of force the no escape on a delay mash right here, and sometimes I feel like if I can get this right, like do something like that. Same thing applies right here. Obviously, it's just something to be aware of. It's not like, you know, it's gonna happen every time. But if they like to do this, just know that if you spot dodge it, you kill them. So yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, that's like about it for Zooey. Zooey isn't really that complicated to like kind of deal with. It's just kind of being patient on her pressure when that does happen, knowing the responses to 66H, which is her little like dash shield thing, and then, you know, lightning setups, air thunder, and then, you know, the frame trap on this is kind of the gist of what I want you guys to know when it comes to dealing with this character. There's not too much, but knowing this stuff will definitely make your life a lot easier against Zooey. But like I said, the biggest thing I want to take away, want you guys to take away from this is kind of dealing with the you know, projectiles and kind of taking an eye of their dragon gauge, because that will change how Zooey's like to run their pressure and, you know, what risks they're willing to take in that certain situation. So if there's anything I want you guys to take away from this video, it is that, because that will make your life so much easier when dealing with Zooey players. So yeah, be patient, because this character she has a resource that she needs to manage in order to, you know, maintain her pressure. So yeah, but with that out of the way, I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm going to, like I mentioned at the beginning, in the intro, I'm going to kind of work on characters that have been changed recently, because with upcoming patches, who knows who's going to get adjusted. So just to play it safe, I'm going to kind of make videos on characters that have been recently patched, so I don't have to remake videos by making like a video on a character that is probably going to get changed in the upcoming patches. So yeah, that's it for me. Like I said, hope this helped. Hope you guys enjoyed. If it did, you know, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have any other questions. I'll be willing to respond as usual. And yeah, this is gonna be it for me. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.